Hey guys, welcome to the Mainspringer channel. I'm Parikh, and in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the newest acquisitions in my collection, and the watch we're talking about here is the Grand Seiko SBGJ227, also widely known as the Peacock. This is one of their more iconic Grand Seiko dials, and it was launched in 2017 as a limited edition of 700 pieces. This is a watch that I was planning to pull the trigger back in the day, but actually passed on it, and I have come to miss this piece quite a lot and have been since trying to add this to my collection, and this was the chance that I had. In order to get this piece, I did sell my beloved Cherry Blossom, the SBGA413, but I'll get to that as to why I sold that and what's the reasoning behind that. Of course, I do plan to add that piece back in my collection at some day, but we'll talk about that in a second. This watch is a high beat GMT watch, as you can see with the yellow GMT hand on there. It's got this beautiful textured dial that I'll show some pictures on, and the watch is around 40 millimeters in diameter. It is a slightly thick watch. It is 14.4 millimeters thick, but honestly, it doesn't feel as thick as it is on paper. The watch has 55 hours power reserve. You do have to wind the crown probably about 40 turns in order to get the full 55-hour power reserve. That's partly because you do have a high beat as well as a GMT complication, and it actually is a big power drain. So if you wind the watch for like 20 turns, it'll probably stop in a day because you really haven't loaded it up to its full power reserve. But when it comes to this watch, it's really all about the case and the dial.
This case is really an evolution of the historic 44GS case. Now, there have been several different versions of the 44GS case evolution. One of the other watches that I own in my collection is the SBGH269, and you can see while these two are representative and evocative of the 44GS case, there's actually a slight difference. The SBGH227, if you can see, it's got a very narrow tapered lug, whereas on this one it's actually quite broad and chunky, and I think it actually captures the heft of this watch, particularly with the GMT function, and I think it balances out the thickness of this watch a little bit with this unique case geometry and profile. And on the wrist, you see you have this curvature and this slight sticking out, almost like a bubble back on a Rolex, but this part really doesn't show on your wrist as much, and this profile really sits nicely with the curvature of the wrist. Really, the main reason for purchasing this watch is the dial, and the Grand Seiko Peacock dial is absolutely one of the most beautiful dials Grand Seiko has ever produced. As a matter of fact, probably about a week before, Grand Seiko just brought back the Peacock dial in a slightly darker blue color and reintroduced this pattern on a new watch. Of course, to me, this particular color is the best suited for this design and absolutely sings when it comes to just the texture and how it actually captures the light and how it actually shines. And at the end of the day, the heart wants what the heart wants. And so why did I actually get this piece, and why did I sell my Cherry Blossom? So as you all know, the Cherry Blossom was introduced as a US exclusive piece when it first came out with the Seasons collection, and it turned out last year the US exclusivity is over and the piece is now available everywhere. So it's not particularly a rare watch to have and acquire, and it just seemed like I had the opportunity to purchase this particular watch at a really good price, also knowing that this one is a limited edition of 700 pieces, sold out a long time ago. The price has appreciated quite significantly on the secondary market. I think it was introduced for around $6,500 and today retails for well over $10,000, or, sells on the secondary market for well over $10,000. So obviously this is a pretty popular watch, but of course, I can always go go back and add the cherry blossom back in my collection just because it's so abundantly available. So it's really not that much of a loss, I would say. It's just about timing and me trying to move some pieces to make room for the ones that I really want. And I'll go back and add the cherry blossom. I think it is one of the more iconic pieces. It was a daily wearer for me. I used to wear that watch all the time, but when I had the chance to get the Peacock, I figured it is a worthy trade for me to do that. That's really what I wanted to share about this watch. Let me put this on the wrist and show you what it looks like. On the wrist, it wears beautifully. It's just stunning. And it's one of those dials where, again, when you're in the dark, it really doesn't show what you're missing. But the minute you step into the sunlight, it's kind of a distraction. I mean, you have to be careful when you are driving around with this piece. Yeah, it is an absolutely stunning watch, and I figured that this is something that I've been waiting to add to my collection. It was always coming. I've been lusting after this piece for years, since it was introduced, and this time I figured I could pull the trigger on this. So, very excited to have this in the collection. If you have any thoughts or comments, please add those to the comments below, or if you do own a Grand Seiko Peacock or have any opinions about it, please post your comments in the comments below. If you do like this video, please do like and subscribe and support the YouTube algorithm. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much and have a great day.